Celtic's attack on Rangers may have ran out in the second half, but Chris Sutton's certainly did not, as he went on to attack Fabio Silva for being a cheater and then took a shot at Todd Cantwell before doubling down on Radio 5 Live after accusing Fabio Silva of being a diver. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. It's a good game yesterday. Rangers free, Celtic free. Nobody could pick up the 3 points. Had to settle for 1 point apiece. Some people were happy, some people were not so happy. One of the people not happy, though, was former Celtic striker Chris Sutton. He believes that Fabio Silva was cheating the entire game. He thinks Fabio Silva went down way too easily for the penalty kick, and he thinks it was embarrassing that a penalty was given. And he also had something to say about Todd Cantwell as well. Now, this is what Chris Sutton said when the penalty was being looked at by VAR. So he was doing commentary for the game for Sky Sports. I believe it was Chris Sutton and Kenny Miller as the analysts, and he went on to say the following, quote, "This would be embarrassing if a penalty is given. Silva is already on his way down. Of course, it's not a clear and obvious error," end of quote. So Chris Sutton believes that it would be embarrassing. He thinks that Silva is already on his way down. He doesn't think it's clear and obvious. He is insinuating here that Silva is a cheat, that Silva is diving. And I'm not saying Silva isn't, okay? Silva, that entire game was embarrassing. He was going down for absolutely nothing. Even the penalty, I thought it was soft. Yes, there's contact, but Alistair Johnson did get the ball, and he is trying to pull his leg out. I'm pretty sure Fabio Silva could have avoided the leg if he wanted to, but he was looking for the contact. It is what it is. I'm not here to argue whether the penalty is a penalty or not. What I'm here to argue is Chris Sutton being pretty biased in the commentary, and we've seen recently with Brendan Rodgers getting suspended for calling out referees and basically saying like the referees are incompetent. Then you've got Chris Sutton more or less just saying that Silva is a diver, Silva is a cheat, and he's saying it's embarrassing if the penalty is given, and he's saying this on commentary. This isn't a fan or him doing an article for the Daily Record or whatever it is. You know, this isn't Chris Sutton after the game giving his opinion. This is Chris Sutton during the game as a commentator or as an analyst. He's supposed to be a neutral here, reporting on this game, and he's accusing Silva of being a cheat, which, I mean, he might have every right to do so, and he's saying that it would be embarrassing if the penalty was given. Isn't that sort of insinuating that the referee is embarrassing if the referee gives the penalty? And we've seen with Brendan Rodgers calling out referees for being incompetent. Isn't this like the same thing? So, isn't Chris Sutton, shouldn't he come under fire? Shouldn't he get in trouble, technically, for saying this? Isn't he supposed to be impartial? Instead, he's, definitely leading towards, I would say, some sort of like shady refereeing here. Because he said it's embarrassing if a penalty is given. He thinks it's embarrassing. So, therefore, that is almost suggesting that he thinks there's no way the referee can overturn this. But the referee did, and then he ended up giving the penalty. That was that. We also had Chris Sutton at the end of the game when there was a bit of a pushing match going on between Cal McGregor and Todd Cantwell, sorry. Chris Sutton referred to Cantwell as TikTok and says, quote, "Do your talking on the pitch, TikTok." And again, I get it. I don't care, it's banter. I get it. Chris Sutton, Cantwell, got a bit of a rivalry. But again, Chris Sutton's he's a reporter here. He's a commentator, analyst, and he's calling Todd Cantwell TikTok during the game. It's like, isn't he supposed to be impartial? Isn't he supposed to be like treating this fairly? I don't know. It's just, I thought Chris Sutton's commentary was very weird. I've no issue with the guy giving his opinion, but the way he gets on at times, I'm surprised he doesn't get called out for this, because the green was certainly oozing out of him yesterday. And then on Radio 5 Live later that night, he got into an argument with Robbie Savage, and he says, quote, "There has to be sufficient contact, Rob. He went down all afternoon. There were many incidents before that, and he goes down again. He is awarded a yellow card for stimulation. Was it clear and obvious error? Was sufficient contact, Rob? Come on, you're just saying that. End of quote. So, again, not really happy with Robbie Savage's take on the game. Chris Sutton taking this really bad, believing that John Beaton got this call wrong. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Will Chris Sutton be called out for this? I doubt he's going to face any repercussions, but if a manager came out and got on the way Chris Sutton gets on, then he'd probably be looking at some sort of ban, because we've already seen Brendan Rodgers get it in like recent times. So yeah, I thought it was interesting. Chris Sutton here. I like Chris Sutton as a commentator. I think he's funny. I like the rivalries. I like the banter. But yesterday I thought he was extremely biased, the way he was getting on. I mean, does he have a point with Fabio Silva? Yes, I get that. But isn't that crossing the line as a Sky Sports commentator to accuse the guy of cheating? Then at the end, I mean, it's a 50-50 with McGregor and Todd Cantwell, and he calls out Todd Cantwell, calling him TikTok. You don't really see commentators being that sort of unprofessional and referring to a player as like a made-up negative nickname that he has given him himself. So yeah, I thought that was strange. But anyway, guys, that was Chris Sutton there. I get it. He's upset. He wanted Celtic to win this game. He's not happy that they didn't win this game. And he's probably taking his frustrations out on Silva, out on Todd Cantwell. I know at half time he was fucking delighted. Second half, though, didn't really turn out well for him. In terms of John Beaton, though, I thought John Beaton actually had a decent game. I don't think John Beaton got much wrong. The only decision that I think that was questionable was probably the penalty that Rangers got, but I can see why he gave it. I think it's soft, but I can see why he gave it. So, other than that, no, I think John Beaton had a good game. So I don't think it's fair to say that John Beaton was embarrassing. I didn't see that for John Beaton at all. But Chris Sutton thinks it was embarrassing to overturn the yellow card and give the penalty. Is what it is, but yeah, Celtic aren't happy, Sutton's not happy. That's what happens when you lose a 2-goal lead. Obviously, the team that was winning 2-0, they're going to take this draw like it's the worst result ever. And the team that was losing 2-0, you know, a draw, not to sound negative, but a draw probably does sound like Rangers won. You know, it probably does sound like they got more than just a point. I know they've done like some form of lap of honour after the game. I mean, I can guarantee you, had Rangers been leading 2-0 and they drew this game 3-3, there would have been no lap of honour. So it all depends on the circumstances. It depends on if you come from behind, how many goals you were in front. It all depends on that stuff. I think a draw, on the whole, was probably the fair result. I mean, I don't think Rangers certainly didn't do enough to win the game. And I think Celtic could have been further ahead in the first half. Out of the two teams, I think Celtic will be disappointed the most because they were 2-0 up. And they were in control of the game at that point, and Rangers looked awful. Celtic had a chance to bury them in the first half, didn't really take it, and they got pegged back in the second. So yeah, is what it is. Anyway, guys, that's it. Chris Sutton not happy with Todd Cantwell, not happy with Fabio Silva, and not happy with John Beaton, but is what it is. I'm sure if Celtic won, Chris Sutton would have been over the moon. But he will get a chance next month. You got the second derby, or the fourth derby even, at Celtic Park, and we'll see who's all smiles then. But anyway, guys, that's it. Catch you in the next one. Till then, peace.